It's cool.
That's what we
Right.
do.
I like the aspect of it being protection and feeling secure. Do you know what I mean? If somebody guards you, you know you're being protected, and that's wonderful. So it's an excellent name.
Isn't it wonderful? I mean, we've been doing this for many, many years, Sonia. We
Mm.
watched the industry evolve over the years.
Yeah.
So we know who the players are, who they were, and
Mm.
the big contributors, whether it's products, whether it's styling, from all aspects, education. We understand that we met them, we worked with them, we were part of that whole movement, and
Yeah.
we're very proud of it,
Yeah.
and we're going to protect it at all costs. And
Yeah. I agree.
yeah, absolutely. So how are you up there in Birmingham?
Yeah, we're fine. Busy as always, but all is going well.
Excellent.
Yeah, so keeps me out of trouble. I've been rushing all day. It's unbelievable. And actually, technically, I was meant to be on a holiday. I was meant to be in Jamaica from the 3rd of October for a month, and the flight got cancelled. And then I couldn't risk rebooking just in case I got stuck over there, and I got work to do. So I should really be on the beach with a glass of mango juice, but instead I'm here with a different kind of sunshine.
I think there's a beaches aren't accessible in the Caribbean right now, as far as I know. In some islands, in fact, the
Well, being
locals.
somewhere sunny, not having to wear thermals on and the heater on and having to wear gloves, which I wear yesterday because I was so cold, would have been an advantage.
Well, the locals are barred from the beach in certain islands, as far as I've been hearing. I don't know how true that is, but I know,
Yeah,
on social media, people are complaining that certain beaches are barred.
right. Oh my life.
I don't know what's going on there.
But you know,
See,
just having the sunshine would be the benefit.
you're better off here, Sonia. You're better off here.
We're now live on Facebook Live, Zoom Live. Welcome to Let's Talk, Guardians of the Afro Realm, and one of our favorite professionals from the hair care industry of this generation, Sophia Morgan Jennis.
Thank you.
And
I said
also
that.
we've got a guest, Deborah Robinson. Good to see you, Deborah. You're
Hi, Deborah.
live
I
and
know
direct.
I think Deborah Robinson's a Splinters girl, you know.
Really? Okay.
I'm
Are
sure.
you really? Splinters, there's
Oh,
a
she's
nod
not.
there. Excellent. So we'll be talking to you a bit later because Splinters is going to be in the news over the next few days. Channel 4 television, Museum of London live, etc., etc. But Derek, I think we should put some big focus on Sophia, don't you?
Absolutely.
Wow. So Sophia, tell us once
Uh,
again who you are, your brands, what you do, etc., etc. before we start the show.
Okay. Well, as you said, my name is Sophia Morgan Jeans, and I'm the CEO of Morgan Jeans Limited. And we specialize in magnesium products, and we also do natural hair products. So our passion and our aim is to have beauty products that not only beautify, but also enhance your health and well-being. So that's a biggie for us. And with regards to natural hair, our hair and body oils are organic, they're natural, you can eat them, they're safe enough to eat. And I think any product that you use on your skin being your biggest organ, including your scalp, your skin and your scalp, then it's important that it's something that you can have in your mouth as well. So it's pure, it's clean, and good for you. I think there's so many different products for skin and hair out in the world where on the short-term basis, they can look really nice and enhance you, but in long term, they can cause lots of damage. And so what we aim to do is to provide products which are good now and in the future, enhance you now and enhance you for always. So for our skin, black skin especially, it can get very dry. So it's about having products that can nourish the skin, moisturate and hydrate. And that's the biggie for me. So my passion is to enhance people, make things better. And that's what I aim to do.
Excellent. Thank you for
Great.
that. As always. Brother Derek, over to you.
No, I mean, Sonia's absolutely right. And, she speaks to our language. We talk about sustainability and the importance of using ingredients that are sustainable for the well-being of our hair and our health. And so she's right on point. And magnesium is one of those ingredients, one of those nutrients that's actually good for your hair. And we now know that we live in a time where people are being challenged by chronic conditions and chronic diseases. And that's precisely that. They may, perhaps they didn't take the opportunities to look after themselves. So there's no such thing as trying to cure yourself afterwards. We know the old Caribbean term, prevention is better than cure. And so for the future, the younger people who's watching us, it's imperative that you ensure you protect yourself against all those dreadful chronic conditions of the future. Well done, Sonia. Fantastic. That's very much up our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
Sophia,
think you're right. I
Sophia.
know he calls me Sonia all the time.
Oh, Sophia. Sorry, Sophia.
Yeah, but
right.
don't worry. I tend to respond. I respond. I know you mean me, but yeah, I think that's important. It's about educating the young generation as well, so that they don't make the mistakes that we have made. And some of the big mistakes that we made was putting things like mineral oil in our hair, processing our hair in using chemicals to process our hair, and not loving ourselves. And I think that's a key for me. I come from a mental health background as well, working as a psychiatric nurse and a social worker, still working in mental health. So I also look at that holistic picture about what does it do to our self-esteem, to our philosophy, our thinking, if we don't love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves and try and change ourselves too much, you know what I mean, then we're passing on that legacy to our children. And I think what's happened is that we've spent so much time hiding our hair, changing and altering our hair, that some people don't even know what their natural texture feels like or what their natural hair looks like. It's been so long. So I think it's about loving self and loving our hair, and then it'd be less of a struggle. And I think that a lot of the struggles that we have with our hair, with the alopecia, and a lot of problems is because we don't love ourselves and we're trying to hide. Whereas if we embrace it, then our hair will love us for it back.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing to that really, anyway, is education.
Definitely.
Because the reality is people today are no different to people 500, 1,000, 1,500 years ago. The difference is education and in the environment in which you're living at the time. So of course, there's a great term that Derek uses, that we left our ingredients in the Caribbean. How we have to maintain ourselves and our hair here. And obviously, and you're right around cultural esteem, but we've always had the educators within our community. And that's one of the challenges, is to get people to respect those people who do have the ability, the professional insight. They know about hair care maintenance, they know how to preserve the hair, they know about staying healthy, and not be distracted by other, as you said, things that look, nice and glistening and gold, when of course they're false,
Yeah.
So we do have the people, and I think it's why it's important, and that's why we use the term guardians of the Afro realm, that those of us who do understand it, ensure that we keep educating, we keep providing information, advice, guidance. And the maintenance advice is so important, and that's that generational information that we continue to pass on. So it's
Definitely.
right.
Because I think if we don't make changes, then our children will follow whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
and then they can make the same kind of mistakes. I think what's happening with a lot of people wearing wigs and weaves and not taking care of it properly, not knowing how to take care of it properly, and then losing the edges. Now you're finding they're putting extensions in young children's hair too tightly, pulling out edges. So you're starting a process where now the child lost their edges, and now they're always having to have a protective style, and they're not embracing their true hair, and not even understanding what to do with their texture of hair. So I always believe if we start to love ourselves, start to learn about how to maintain our hair, then I think it just makes it a lot easier. I think a lot of the struggles that we have is because we try to change our hair to be altered to what it is. So you see a lot of people might put a lot of gel on their hair, and to slick it down and continually brush it and pull it tight in order to get rid of some of the curls and kinks in our hair, but that can cause stretching and damage. Whereas if we turn around and say, well, you know what, my hair's meant to be a bit curly and kinky and have curly hair that stand up into the sunshine and not lay down flat, then it's going to be less stress. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to have to be gelling it down or checking the mirror all the time, because we're just loving it as it is.
Exactly.
And sometimes if we just love as it is, we can go a lot further.
And I think focusing again on the education, and that's why even with the photos and the photo shoots, we just need to see more examples of allowing the hair to be natural and to be in a natural state. And it can still look fashionable, it can still look good, because
It's beautiful.
because the cultural esteem, and you've got that feeling of self-worth, then you wouldn't criticize it. You wouldn't think it should be like somebody else's hair, you know. It's your own hair.
Definitely.
And so
Exactly. But you're right. Seeing those positive images is a good start. But I think as well, the greatest positive image is actually in the home, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So if mum and dad are loving and your kinks and curls, then that's the strongest one. And I really believe that we have a lot of control with how we spend our money and what we do. So people that have hair companies, hair products manufacturers, we do what the public want in essence. So if the public want to have natural products for natural hair, then they will provide it.
yeah, no, absolutely. And parabens free, sulfates free. They've got so many products that are like that now because
Exactly.
consumer demand.
That's
Very
right.
good, very good. You know what, guys? You've actually touched on some real great pointers, and I call them triggers. So we talked about education. We talked about positive images. We talked about cultural esteem. And so to me, in my mind, it's absolutely imperative that we understand our past to understand our future. Now, the only past we know, we take ourselves back just 400 years. Perhaps our parents and the parents of younger people should perhaps try to take them back a bit further. Now, if you know about Dr. Henry Clark, he talked about a great and mighty walk. So he's taking you back before that dreadful episode called slavery, right? And why do I say this? It's imperative to understand that who were we in antiquity? Who were we? So if you look, I see you today, show you've got this marvelous earring, massive mark of Africa, right? That illustrates a love for your antecedents, doesn't it? It literally, it demonstrates a love for your antecedents. You're proud of who you are.
And the continuity.
A couple years ago, yeah, absolutely. There's love for her culture. Now, Rudy and I had a wonderful conversation the other day. We were talking about how far back did we go and where were we in the scheme of things? So we know that we were around for 3,000 years. No other culture has been able to achieve that. If our children need to know
one dynasty. So we're talking about there was one dynasty of 3,000 years. No other culture on this planet has been able to create a dynasty that lasted 3,000 years.
That's imperative. Really, that is so important for our young people to understand in order that they move forward, okay, with the hair. And the hair, wonderfully, the hair is pivotal in all that movement. So you have a family, a people, 3,000 years on the dynasty on the planet. All the other cultures that came after that did not last for even half as long. The Romans, 1,000 years. The British, 300 years. The Greeks and the Persians, 200 years. We were on this, so that means, therefore, Rudy, in that 3,000 years dynasty, imagine the styles, the hairstyles, the cultural esteem, the hair care procedures, the milk that was used on our hair. The Afro comb is over 3,000 years old. Our people use honey on their hair, right? So it's imperative that our children understand who we were on the planet in relation to moving forward and to understand that they were bigger than who they think they actually were. Whoever told you the stories afterwards, that's not the story. We need to get the entire story and to understand who we were.
Yes. So, Deborah, it'd be nice to hear from you. Tell us a bit about yourself and your Splinters experience. We can't wait to hear that.
Yeah. Right. So I'm not a hairdresser myself. But yes, I used to go to Splinters many years ago. Splinters in Shepherd's Bush and Splinters that was in the West End.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, we sometimes used to queue right round the block as well.
With an 8-hour visit.
In the West End branch, we queued for ages because we were going out that night. It was Saturday night.
Yeah.
We were going out. We were going to have our hair done. So yeah, those were the days of relaxing, hair colouring, but mainly relaxing and, you know, curls, you know, that sort of style to, you know, shoulder length hair. So, you know, ready to go out for the night. And have the hot, warm air of the room make the hair slightly different. But anyway, we had it styled. But yeah.
Actually, that's a great memory, because I remember back we'll talk about in the 80s. I don't know, Sophia, you would have been very young, you know, back in the 80s.
Actually, age
I'm not going to say that you were at primary school. I'm not going to say that, right?
I'm old.
Way back.
I remember the 80s.
Way back in the
My
80s.
mum used to do holidays called Jet Promotion holidays. So it was like we used to go to Pontins and Blackpool and stuff like that, and rent out the whole of the campus and party. So it was part of Jet Promotions.
Okay.
So yeah, I used to. So I know a little bit.
Okay.
I'm old. I'm 50. I'm good.
Okay. So in the 80s, okay, in the 80s, then you raise a good point, Deborah, because there used to be a very close link between the hair and fashion shows and the salon industry as well, because it used to be really important and really linked. So we would be selling a lot of products to the salons for the weekend so that people could get their hair done and go to the hair fashion shows in the evening. And you're right, people did used to complain about some of the products in terms of their hair in the evening, you know, because obviously the heat in the room and everything like that, and dancing and stuff like that. So that was always a big issue. And I think, looking back, Derek, I think I'm just trying to think which products, people like Soft Sheen.
Soft Sheen, that's right.
They came out with one of their products which was supposed to deal with that. It wasn't the activator. There was another product that was in use where they said that it would stop the hair flying away, you know, after going to, you know, enjoying themselves for the evening. So yeah, just remember.
Good memories, fantastic memories. That's amazing. And she talks about the queuing up. I mean, where would you find a salon today where people are queuing up to get the hair done? That will never happen again in history, Rudy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Such was the demand, and the number of stylists on the floor, could be over 50 hairdressers on the floor, providing an excellent service for our community in those days. The only time you see queues today is when you go to perhaps Lidl because of lockdown. You don't see queues. In fact, salons are generally empty these days. What a wonderful memory. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and in fact, Splinters at the time, they were the largest train of young people when it came to hairdressing skills. I mean, it was a school in itself.
It was a school.
You know, so obviously its main business was a salon, but they trained more stylists, and more people actually went on to create their own hairdressing salons as well, working all around the world. It was we need a better recognition of the contribution of Splinters International, but we're working on that. That's something that we're working on. So the other thing that we're really looking at tonight as well then is that this week, obviously we're in Black History Month, and is it the 20th tomorrow, 7 p.m. We've got Museum of London. We did a joint event with them, HairX and Museum of London last year.
That's right.
So what they're doing a replay tomorrow of some of the unseen footage, 7 p.m. They're launching it on their website, which is great for us. And then Derek is coming out on Channel 4. What's the name of that program, Derek?
26th of October, after Bake Off. It's gonna, I think it's 100 Afros it's called. That's coming up next week, guys. I'll be on Channel 4 for a wonderful documentary called 100 Afros, I believe it's called. I haven't got the information yet, but it's going to be the 26th of October, and it's going to be a marvelous documentary. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So again, we've seen, going back to something that you said earlier on as well, Sophie, as you would have seen, there's a lot being said about Afro hair at the moment, and to my mind, still the education is missing. So you either hear people talking about the challenges that they have with their hair, or there's just a superficial, you know, look at Afro hair itself in terms of how different it might be to other hair.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's one of the challenges, I guess, that we have going forward is, Derek touched on it, is it's how we intervene with quality products, quality services, and improve the level of education about hair and culture, and have that link between Afro hair, culture, cultural esteem. But not only that, the business side of it as well, because Sheer Moist 9, we have what we call the MUST program. So what we say, we should make products, we should use them, we should sell them, and we should train the next generation. So in other words, the ecosystem that surrounds the hair industry is really important, because again, in the 1980s, there was a clear link between the manufacturers, the wholesalers, the retailers, the hairdressers, the training of young people, and the accessories as well, the fashion, the music. They were all interlinked.
Yeah.
One ecosystem, because we learned that in the States, because the States, that's always been the way for the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went there in the 80s, that's what we all learned, to link all these sectors together. And, you know, we just call them clusters today, or we talk about sector development. We use different terms, but all it is linking the marketplace together. So in a sense, it's being able to buy and sell from each other, really, and use the products that are made in your community.
Yeah.
And
Kind of black pound.
Yeah, and you don't really
raise that black pound.
Yeah, yeah, but also you don't
I
need.
mean, I like the aspect of the black pound. I think is really, really important. But the other aspect, which we mustn't overlook, it's not just saying we're going to support a black business. We need to be able to have quality products to support that black business. And what I like about Share Moist 9 and what we do with Morgan Genius as well, it's about making sure that our products are for the beneficial of people. So it's not about just making finances. It's about how is this going to enhance the whether it's going to be the skin or the hair. Do you know what I mean? So we both know the importance of black hair is about moisture. It's about keeping it hydrated. It's to give it that, makes it more flexible. It gives some spring in your hair. You need to have that spring. You need to have that moisture, not shy away from it or dry it out. So we know it. We know that we want to make sure that people have a good experience with their hair. So we make sure that our products are giving people that good experience, not just silicone where it looks good for a day and then it dries out and brittle in between the silicone, but it's something that's going to be last longing and nurturing and nourishing and protecting and hydrating. These are our keys for our products. So it's not just about supporting a black business. We're saying support a black business that is protecting and caring and giving you value and high standard, high quality products. That's the importance for me.
And that really.
And also, Sophia, it's not just about, you're perfectly right. I mean, customer service is absolutely imperative. We make sure that the moment our clients reach out to us, we are ensuring that they get the information they need, as Rudy just mentioned. We provide loads of online Zoom conferences, giving people information and the support they need. It's interesting. I spoke to a woman the other day who bought something from a black brand, and she said she didn't get what she wanted. And the company did not. They were reluctant to exchange or to even listen to her. We go above and beyond to make sure that not only is the product ideal for the hair, as you just recommended, using a plant-based, using a phytonutrient, and using products that are sustainable. Okay, and we're going to go even further where we could consume the product. Okay, it's not just about what's on the outside. It's absolutely crucial that what's on the inside is imperative. And it's interesting. I did a consultation the other day, and I tried to explain to the young woman that your hair grows on the inside, and she didn't get it. She didn't understand. She goes, "What I did my outside?" It goes, "Well, let's look at the inside first, and let's also get your self-esteem up and running." Because she was saying to me, "Well, I want my hair to look like your daughter's hair." I goes, "No, focus on just your hair and the length it is, and everything else will follow. Don't look at my daughter's hair because it's touching her backside." And that was, and this young lady was determined right there and then to have long hair immediately, as opposed to going home and working on herself, her self-esteem, her cultural esteem, and the product, what it does to the hair. It's interesting. Very good point, Sophia.
It is. I mean, what I always say as well, what we need to remember is that our bodies are designed to survive. Okay, so we know that our body's going to do whatever it takes in order to survive. So if you're not taking care of your internal organs, and your body's going to make sacrifices. Now, the easiest sacrifice to make is going to be your skin and your hair. So if you find that you're living a very acid lifestyle, so an acid lifestyle is where disease lives. So if you eat meat, fish, dairy, have stress in your life, this is turning your body acid. So if you have an acid lifestyle, your body's going to make sacrifices. So on your skin, you're going to find that you're going to wrinkle when other people aren't wrinkling, or your skin's going to become very, very dry. But your hair's going to become very dry. It's going to go grey. That's the acid sign of acid in your hair, acid in your body. That's your body turning around and saying, I'm going to make sacrifices. I'm going to sacrifice your skin. I'm going to sacrifice your hair, because there's more important things for your internal body to take care of. So sometimes if you look at your skin and your hair and it's in its best, it could be because something size going on that you need to detox, you need to hydrate, you need to take care of that first, and it will show and glow in your skin and in your hair.
That's such a great point. I mean, one of the things we started recently were the hair care and barbering skills club. So one in Croydon at the Croydon Education Supplementary Project, and the other one will be in Birmingham at the King Solomon International Business School. And we just realized from doing those sessions just recently was that it's important to start with knowing all the hair types that exist around Afro hair, but also that understanding around the diet and nutrition and the link between that and hair care. Because historically we haven't done that. I mean, going forward, we will do, as Derek alluded to, because of, you know, the Jamaican castor oil that's in the Sheer Moist 9, and also shea butter as well, you know. And the point Derek says all the time that you should be able to drink what you put on your hair, kind of thing, which is quite an interesting concept. But if you think of the health needs, and we now link well-being and chronic conditions together, because if you think about the lupus, the sickle cell, etc., some of these long-term conditions, and of course these long-term conditions are starting much earlier as well. So can be in the 40s. So you could be in your 40s now and have a chronic condition. So that's how you've got quite a few years to go. So we realize now.
I'm 50.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a challenging. And again, it goes back to the ingredients that were left in the Caribbean, those ingredients that we haven't got here. And the point that you said is the body is going to respond and do the things it has to do to survive. And of course, that can, again, that's the cause of some of the chronic conditions, take diabetes, things like that, of course, to do with lifestyle.
Definitely. But you got to remember that sometimes when you get in those symptoms, not necessarily to see it as such a negative thing, it's your body giving you a sign that something's not quite right, which means that you can do something about it. I always say that if you have an acid body, if you have those signs and symptoms, where it's going to be the lupus, diabetes, high blood pressure, anything that's going on for you, that means that you've moved too far from nature, and you need to move closer to nature. So if you are a meat eater, a smoker, a dairy eater, you've got a highly stressed job, you're not doing any form of exercise, you're not drinking enough, you're not out in the sunshine, this is where you're leading to an acid body and you're walking directly into health issues. So what you do is reverse. Your body is designed to repair and heal. It's designed that way. Do you know what I mean? But you just have to give it the right material.
Exactly.
So you stop smoking, you reduce the meat, get rid of the meat and dairy, fish, get rid of the drink more, do physical activities, do you know what I mean? Enjoy life, smile more, get rid of the stress, and you're walking into health.
Yeah.
Well, we say that good health is equal to healthy hair. We also talked about the holistic approach. You must be spiritually, mentally, and physically sound. There's no point in looking for good hair or healthy hair if you are not holistic, if you're not balanced. That balance is absolutely crucial. And as Rudy just alluded to, we ensure that we focus on foods that would also enhance your, as you just mentioned, you talk about your body being toxic and acid. If you are eating the right foods, therefore, you will get that alkaline body, that alkaline bloodstream that's going to feed the cells and therefore encourage hair growth. And which is what the supplements such as biotin is all about, is giving the hair cells nutrients, right? And nutrients is important. If you are going to be a person looking for good hair health, you've got to have those three fundamental things. You must be spiritually, physically, and mentally balanced. It's absolutely crucial. And that in turn could provide the alkalinity you're talking about. not the acidity.
And there
that
lies
is
the
very
market
useful.
opportunity.
It is, but you also have to be careful with the aspects of supplements all the time. You've got to be careful in that. It's just like if I have a headache and I say to myself, well, okay, I'm going to take a painkiller. Well, I still have that headache, just that I can't feel it. So
Right.
we've got to look at what are we doing in our life. So it's good to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to have this supplement. But if you're still having that lifestyle, that core body drained, stressed in the first place, all you're doing is putting a sticky plaster over the whole situation. So we need to go back to the core, as you said, have those natural ingredients, the natural foods in your body when you're eating, and the natural plant base on your hair and your skin as well. Do you know what I mean? Go for those minerals, go for the vitamins, the natural ones that your body can recognize and understand. And that's the important thing. So it's not just taking care of nourishing your body right now, but it's nourishing your body for the future so your body doesn't go acid.
Very good point.
And that's
very good point. And Sonia, we have to also remember that people are always into the instant gratification, isn't it? As you just alluded to, the Band-Aid. And so they tend to shy away from looking after the hair and covering up, if you like, for the want of a better word. Sadly, some people talk about protective hairstyling. Great idea, protective, but are you really protecting your hair? You're covering your hair, but are you really protecting your hair underneath?
The scalp.
That's right.
Yeah,
the scalp.
That's it. You're suffocating your scalp.
And I'm always reminding people, bald is a hairstyle.
Bald is a hairstyle, which is even more important, that you need to have a good scalp. If you're going to be exposing your scalp, you need to get yourself healthy, so you've got healthy scalp and healthy hair. Yeah, definitely. So I said that's the key, and you're right. I see when I speak to people, they always say, oh, they like the curls in my hair, or they like my hair. I like to keep my hair hydrated, and I like to use, they like your hair mask, which is a heavier product. I like to use a heavier product on my hair, and that's okay for me, but I can't guarantee that's going to be okay for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's about finding the right range of products. What I like about Moist Now is that you have a range. So you find the one that works best for you. So I don't want to be looking at what other people are doing. You look at what is keeping your hair moist. Look at how you're managing it, putting it away. A lot of people find that their hair is very small and it breaks off in the middle. And then you say, well, how do you normally have your hair? Well, you put your hair in a tight ponytail in the middle, which means that part where you're breaking away the scales of your hair, and so now that part is fragile. So it's every time it grows, you're restricting it by you trying to pull it back so tight you haven't got any curls, and then it's damaging it and it's breaking off. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to look at the techniques that we're using. We say, I'm trying to grow my hair, so you put extensions in which are really heavy, plucking your hair out its scalp, weighing your hair down, and then wondering why it's growing, but as soon as you take the plaits out, it's dry and brittle underneath, and the only way you can grow your hair is if it's extensions. You can't have your hair out. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to look at the methods that we're using. So it's definitely an education.
It's the
what
education
methods are we using to maintain quality hair? Yeah.
And the thing is, one of the challenges will be is for people to understand that they can buy education the way they buy products, because at the moment people don't buy education or don't feel that they should do. But back in the old days, again now, the way the products were sold, they were sold with hairdressers. So it was the top hairstylists were the best sellers, because it was about the techniques as well, and it was about the understanding, and that's also what's missing. So you don't have a group of people who will be sort of trained and then have done a lot of hair. So again, when we talk about education, we're also talking about experience. So we had a generation who had done thousands of people's hair. So if you've actually done thousands of people's hair, your professional insight is going to be very different.
Indeed.
You will actually understand what you're looking, all the different challenges that individuals may have. So again, it's how do we get that education, that professional insight back into the sector as well, which is important for sustainability reasons as well.
Right, very good point, Rudy. And also, Sonia, I'll take you back to what you just talked about, styling method, okay, and as Rudy alluded to, experience. Now, the crown of the hair, as you just alluded to, has been one of the areas where lots of women are losing their hair. and the crown is becoming thin. Now we know that medication can also cause problems there. It can actually block the calcium going into the hair. But think of the old days, that term they used to use, the term was referred to as the pressing comb alopecia. All right, when you are pressing the hair, and if you could visualize a pressing comb, what they used to be like, this hot implement sits on your hair scalp, because you have to now pick the hair up and straighten the hair. Imagine doing this over and over and over for years and years and years. You are actually going to tenderize the crown. Now, there's also the poking of pins in the crown to give that ponytail, and as you just mentioned, scooping the hair into this bun, and the bun has to be extremely tight. So people are, if you like, to a large extent, bringing that damage to the hair. Leave your hair alone. For the, for want of a better term, leave your hair alone and allow the hair to fall in its own gravity.
It's delicate.
And that's what I was saying about loving self. Is if you love your curls, you're not going to be trying to gel them out of the way. Do you know what I mean? Stick them down, gel them down. Just embrace your curls, because it's less stressful for you, and it's better for your hair. You know, so I think it's really important.
That alopecia, we know that alopecia to be CCCA, the most perhaps common alopecia on the market for Black women right now, right? That's centrifugal citrical alopecia, where the hair is chronic, as a matter of fact. Besides medication and besides lupus, we know that people's diets and people's health are going to exacerbate the problem. If you are not eating well, if you're not healthy, if you are autoimmune, you're going to have the inflammation. The inflammation will block all the nutrients going into your hair, and as a result, your hair is going to fall off. Just a natural reaction. So back to your point about eating well. If you want your hair to be healthy, you've got to understand diet, and it's crucial. Good health is equal to healthy hair. Simple as that. Nothing else, not styles, not products. Products are just there to help to manage and maintain. Okay. And good products without the parabens and the sulfates, as you alluded to, not good products. Right. So if you do your bits and pieces on the outside and you look after yourself on the inside, you will have healthy hair. And don't confuse long hair with healthy hair, by the way, which is what most people tend to do. Right? Long hair is not the litmus test for healthy hair. Your healthy hair is the ability for your hair to be stretched and go back to its original state. That's elasticity. As some people has demonstrated. And your hair is always very elastic. That's right. It's elastic all the time. That's healthy hair. We know that back in the day when your hair was straightened, it was damaged because it had no elasticity. And another thing we did back in the day, Sophie, we greased our scalp. The scalp doesn't need grease. Your scalp needs moisture.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's as you said, that's back to the aspect of education, knowing how to treat your hair, so you're treating your hair with love, and that includes the products. I think being in the UK with the elements that we have to deal with, the heat. Well, I blast the heater on really high in my car, high in my home as well. We've got the wind, we've got those kind of conditions that we have to have that extra bit of protection. So I like to use heavier products on my hair, so my hair is protected from those elements. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not just relying on the sebum. I suppose with the sebum, our natural oils that we produce from our scalp, because our hair is curly, it takes a long time for that to slide down. And some of the shampoos can strip the hair from the natural oils, which means it never gets the opportunity to get down to the end because we've stripped all the oils away beforehand. So that's why it is important that we do keep our hair moist and our scalp clean and our hair moist. You know what I mean? It is really important. And having those products, especially in the UK, or even if it's exposed to the sun, we need to protect our hair a little bit more, because our hair can easily get dry. Do you know what I mean? Be it by wind or be it by heat, it can easily get dry, so we need to protect it. That's why I love to have thicker product to protect my hair. That's my preference, but we do need something on our hair.
No, very, very good point. As you said, Sonia, the sebum, and let's explain to people what sebum is. If sebum alone will not provide the solution for your hair in terms of moisturizing the hair. And what is sebum? Sebum is the hair's ability to manufacture its natural lubricant. It's a lubricant that's going to nourish the hair, but it's not enough by itself. And as you said, if the hair is not healthy, for one, you will not get proper moisturization. And so using a very thick, so we do have a wonderful sebum substitute, we've got the
Yes.
mask. And I
Yes.
sometimes prefer to use the mask as a conditioner and
Yeah.
leave it in the hair. That
Yeah.
hair mask, and people get confused. Derek, what do I do? Do I leave it in? Do I wash it out? Well, you could do both. You could either rinse it
Yeah.
off or leave it in. And so
Yeah.
everything in our range, in the Shea Moisture range, is about moisturizing.
Yeah.
It's about hydrating. In fact, both items, we emphasize very little on shampooing.
Yeah.
We know that shampooing is crucial, but shampooing is really a kind of necessary evil. It cleanses the hair in one aspect, but it also can damage the hair in another because we used to shampoo too many times. So we say little shampoo, but more co-wash and more mask. And we continue that procedure all the way using everything we do. It's about moisturizing, hydrating, and providing nutrient for the hair.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, with regards to if you're going to use a shampoo, if I'm going to use a shampoo, I tend to use black soap or organic soap. But if I'm going to use a shampoo, then I only focus that on the scalp to cleanse my scalp. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't turn around and make it go. I'll do it under the shower so that the suds can go down. But I don't want to strip and squeaky clean on my hair. I don't want to do that. I like to keep the moisture on my hair. I'm not having, you know what I mean? Because it does cause that kind of damage. You know the sound. You know it's. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I didn't think my hair was clean unless I heard that sound. But now I understand. Do you know what I mean? That what I was doing was taking away the natural oils, which was protecting my hair. So when it comes to cleansing, we want a clean scalp. Do you know what I mean? But we don't need to get rid of those oils so heavily from there. So yeah, I'm very much a co-washer. And with the hair mask, I'm like you. I like to keep the hair mask in my hair because I keeps it moisture, and I put it into the point that my hair is kind of white. You can see it, but it dries back black, so it's not a problem. And then it just helps if I'm messing with my hair, then I might put a lighter conditioner and I use that like my gel to moisten my hair if I want to tidy my edges a little bit. So I'm still conditioning my hair and not drying it out with an alcoholic gel, you know?
Very
so I always want that moisture.
Valid point. And I think that the idea of the squeak, that squeaky concept is actually a sulfate. That's a consequence of sulfate. When the hair squeaks, you've actually literally dry the hair off from all its moisture, and it gets a squeaky sound. And it's interesting in our community, our culture, we like that squeak. That squeak indicates that your hair is clean. Well, I'm afraid it's not a good sound because you've actually cleansed the hair from its natural moisture. That's not a good thing. So do not get your hair to squeak. And that squeaky sound that you get from the hair, also in our culture, when we wash clothes, that squeaky sound, people attribute that to.
I could never get that technique that my mother used to do.
You need to wash more clothes.
Exactly. That's what she used to say, actually.
That's what she used to say.
Sophia, I'm very happy you talked about the black soap. We have the black soap. It's interesting. And Rudy Page, I think we've been very unfair to the sisters because we've got the black soap. This is actually from Africa. The ingredients, it's all natural, right? So we've got the African soap, face and body scrub. And I'm so happy you mentioned it because those two products, we've got two different ingredients in there, two different fragrances. It's absolutely imperative to keep it all the time, keeping it black, keeping it from your culture, and keeping it indigenous to you. Remember that, guys. You must always use products that's indigenous to you and nature. Do not stray away from nature now, because when you do, that's where the problem lies. As Sophia alluded to earlier on, it's all about the magnesium. That's all indigenous to nature. It's indigenous to you. It's important to keep the products natural.
I mean,
and so it's plant-based. It's plant-based. The black soap is made from the shea butter. It's made from plantain ash. It's organic and plant-based, and that's why I love black soap, because I know that you can eat it. It wouldn't taste very nice, but you could eat it. It's not going to do you any harm. You're not going to have to rush into A&E. You know what I mean? So it's important to have those kind of quality products. And with regards to the magnesium, you've got to remember every living plant, and well, even with us, we have magnesium, because what it does is the key to our cells. You talked about the aspect of calcium. Magnesium helps to keep calcium in the right place at the right balance. So it is about balancing our body. When our body is balanced, whether it could be emotionally or physically, then we're at optimum health. So magnesium is key for that. So that's why I love plant-based things, because I love to keep my magnesium high. And I said we need that supplement. The soil quality has changed because of how people are doing the farming. So even though we're trying to get good quality food, good quality products, if the soil is depleted, it's hard for the soil to take away the nourishment if there's no nourishment in the soil. So that's the only reason why I say, look, get your magnesium levels boosted, because that's going to help to balance your body out, because it's been depleted in the soil. So
very good point, because in the olden days,
So Deborah,
I was just wondering where would I get hold of your products, because I don't shop from the the Asians on the high street, wherever, blah blah. I don't shop with them. I haven't for about 8 or 9 years now. So where would I get hold of your products?
So
could you
Sophia,
put that in the chat, or let me know?
Whose products? My products or
your
or
products. If you put it in the chat room.
I think yours. I think Sophia's come through on the Women's Empowerment Group. I think I've seen a lot of adverts. That's where I got this.
Oh, right, okay.
Where I got notice of this webinar. So I think Sophia comes through quite a lot on the Women's Empowerment.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to push it through Sophia, that's fine, because I'll get it through the Women's Empowerment Group, or just let me know. I'm in Croydon, by the way.
You're just up the road from us.
Okay.
I'll put the details in the chat room anyway.
That'd be lovely. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you mentioned the empowerment. And how can I forget? Because we've got our Women Empowerment event this week, actually, this Friday. Yeah, so it's called Women Power Renewal.
Okay.
And that's going to be a great event. Sophie is one of the speakers as well.
I am. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, we've got 10 speakers, women of all age groups, generations, talking about the importance of collaboration. And also we're just recognizing the contribution that women make and how we collaborate amongst ourselves as well. So that's going to be quite a good event.
All right, excellent. So if you push that through the empowerment group, I'll make sure that it gets around my circles.
Excellent. Yes, definitely. I'll put it on there. And I think it's important. I think we're stronger together. That's the key. Absolutely. We're stronger together, and it's about being informed about what's going on in your local community. Do you know what I mean? Where to go for that information and advice. And there's a lot of people there struggling, or a lot of people are doing things independently. Think, oh, I see that there's a need, and I'm going to do something. And everybody's doing something. You burn that energy in isolation. Whereas if you come together, you have strength. So I'm a key person with working with organization, with positive organizations. Do you know what I mean? I'm a key believer in that. So.
And of course, people don't know what they don't know. And sometimes our people arrive at something and believe that they're the first, and don't understand that actually it was done 100 years ago, let alone a generation ago. And we all say Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker. In 1902, Annie Malone said it's not just about hair. 100 years ago, Madam C.J. Walker said it's about cultural esteem. It wasn't just about selling the products. It's about lifting the culture and the feeding of well-being of women and taking care of themselves. And she also sold products, and she said she sold them very well, of course. And I think, as Derek said, it's about the conditioning. So it has been done before. So that's why we talk about this era is one of renewal. So the more we can encourage people to go and find out the facts and the generations before them, and what did the generations do before them.
Well, I think you're right, brother. We're celebrating the women, the sisters, the mothers, the grandmothers, celebrating our legendary ancestral women, the likes of Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Malone. It's absolutely important, because it is the women who are, as far as I'm using the term, is to collapse the trust. Collapsing the trust to reclaim your tress. What's your tress? Your tress is your hair. And what's the collapsing of the trust? The trust is we will forever look into other people for answers, for information, for guidance and support. And what do they know? What do they know? Yes, right. And the sisters have woken up And for the first time, the lid has been removed, the embargo is gone, and we've collapsed the trust. We're going back to our ancestors, we're going back to our mothers, we're going back to roots, we're going back to sustainability to ensure that we use the right thing. And the natural movement couldn't have done a better job, because what it's saying is that we're starting afresh. As Rudy just said, women, renewal, empowerment. Our women are more empowered, and they've always run the industry. Look at Sophia. I mean, the energy, the zest, the determination to share and to educate is absolutely crucial. We celebrate that, by the way. We love the idea that the females are always at the forefront of this industry.
Yeah, because in the 1980s, you know, we had Lorna St. Clair, Joan Sam. They were the biggest educators.
Yeah, Lorna St. Clair, John Psalms, Annie, Miss Cooper up there in Croydon, Miss
Jenny Cooper.
Jenny Cooper, giants in the industry. Mitchell and Shepherd's Bush, all females leading. That's right, St. Clair's.
Yeah, I used to go to St. Clair's as well. I think Hammersmith and St. Clair's was Shepherd's Bush. Inside the precinct, but yeah.
And that was an underrated. I mean, they would have been the first people who broke the bar, who lifted the bar. They were manufacturing, they had academy, and they would have been millionaires that did very, very well. They had 2 salons, by the way.
2 salons, yeah.
But St. Clair's, Lorna St. Clair, they had a product called Soft Oil.
That's right.
And she used to promote it all the time. And if you look at the original Afro Hair and Beauty, she's there speaking, very articulate, brilliant woman.
And, indeed. We had Vashti's in Shepherd's Bush,
Gold Talk Road, yeah.
And also
the community, all the little ladies in the community who are doing great hairstyles for the community. So they've sustained that industry.
And Hyacinth Jarrett from West Bromwich up there in the Midlands.
I mean, not forgetting Carmen England, of course.
The original. So again, in the early 80s, there was the black hair or Afro hair was not included in the curriculum for further education.
That's right.
So there was an organization called CASH at the time, the Caribbean Afro Society of Hairdressers. In fact, Dyke and Dryden actually helped set that up. And their first meeting was in Dyke and Dryden's warehouse in St. Louis Road, Tottenham. And Hyacinth, Ginger Brown and some others, they actually went up and down the country and actually produced the curriculum that was submitted and is used, and they battled over all the discrimination, all the prejudices, as you can imagine, and got that system into further education. And even though now Afro hair has been taken out of the further education system by and large, sort of officially, but again, there lies a market opportunity because people still need to be trained to do it as well. But you'll find that there's not much in the further education system now, particularly on specializing on Afro hair the way it was.
I think Afro hair, Brother Ruz, is proven to be a challenge. They're not even sure what to call the term. They haven't got no idea what to do, and I think the Afro hair might have taken off too much, so they can't handle it, quite frankly. Yeah. So this is our time to make.
And that's our market opportunity. Again, we keep saying to ourselves that, well, okay, provide for ourselves then. Don't criticize other people. Provide for ourselves.
So why don't you put together the training program?
No, I mean, we have it.
Yeah,
It's a 3-year program. So we actually have, last year at our HairX show in Birmingham at the Clayton Hotel, Hyacinth actually presented the whole program. So we actually have the 3-year program. That's why we do what's called the Hair Care and Barbering Skills Clubs. So they're actually based on that curriculum. But not only did they do hair, but they also did makeup as well. So there's actually a manual, you know, the original manual that we both have a copy of. So again, there's nothing to be invented by anybody.
Good.
There really isn't. We can innovate, we can do things differently, but the basics have not changed for how many thousands of years. And this is what we're trying to get people to understand. And you would have seen them as well, Sophia. Every now and again, around the internet, social media, they show you all those ancient styles of people, women's hair going back in Africa. Look how sophisticated they are. Look, look at the
I
length
love it,
of
but
them and the
our
complexity.
hair sent a different message about what family we belong to, what tribe we belong to, how old we were, whether we were married or single. It was really, really important. I mean, part of slavery was one of the things that did was to shave off our hair. Do you know what I mean? Because it was able to remove our identity. It was one way that they used to remove our identity. So I can see the importance. And we've always been stylish. We've always been experimental. We've always been creative. So some of the styles are absolutely amazing. How to do the cornrows when my daughters were younger. Do you know what I mean? I always try and experiment, see how to get all the patterns in their hair. They used to allow me to do that when they was younger. I can't touch their hair now, they're big people. But you know, we used to pop some styles. Do you know what I mean? Put some beads on, put ornaments on. I love to have ornaments in my hair. So I think we're creative, and that's really, really important. And I think that's never been lost. The
Yes.
only thing that's happened is that the methods that were used in order to be creative now has caused us damage.
Yeah.
Do you know, whereas before it was creative and it was enhancing. Now we've got to be careful that we're not creative and damaging. And so that's the difference. So never stop being creative, but just be conscious about what you're doing and how you're doing it.
And
I wanted to ask whether you have salons, you know, because both my daughter and myself have been natural for many years now, but we find the places that we used to go back in the day, some of them are still there, some aren't, but to find a good natural hairdressers, it would be just nice to go and have, you know, our head massaged and the right kind of plant-based products. We would love something like that. So do you know anywhere that you could recommend?
I'm going to send you.
Thank you.
My number in the chat room, and then
Thank you.
give me a call, then we'll
Excellent.
direct you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much.
No
I don't want to stop the flow. Thank you.
But the key thing,
but it is important. I mean, it's when you were saying that a lot of the schools are not educating on black hair, that really touched me because I'm thinking, well, are we not important? What are you saying when you say that we're not important enough for you for people to be educated on how to manage our hair, you know? And then even when I think about people training to how to be a hairdresser, generally it's about how to change our hair structure into how to make our curls straight. Do you know what I mean? Or how to process our curls. And so that's not always a positive thing. I think if you want to be educated, you should be educated on how to enhance our hair in its natural state, and any other also, but mainly it should be in its natural state. Do you know what I mean? So that's really, really concerning. And I think we need to, as a group of people, if we start loving ourselves and loving our curls, then they would have to make a difference. Do you know what I mean? But if we're forever changing it by putting on straight wigs or straight whatever, then sometimes they think, well, you don't want this. So why is it, if it's not important to you, why should it be important to us? So we've got to be, we've got to be responsible as well for how we're governing the market, because if we're turning around and saying, well, I don't want to expose my natural hair, I want to expose sacrificed hair from India or China, do you know what I mean? Then we're sending out that message and they're going to provide it for us. Do you know what I mean? In the same way, if we turn around and say, I want to enhance my hair, I want products which can build and make my hair the best of it can be, then that would be provided as well. So we've got some responsibility in the whole situation, but it's quite upsetting to hear that in the beauty schools nowadays we're not even considered.
Yeah, absolutely. And Derek, we're going to have to finish now, so give us that last positive message.
Right, very good point, Sonia, and very good point, Sophia. Sorry. So that was the old model, wasn't it? The old model was trying your very best to sort of mold the hair into something that it wasn't it? So, and that we must understand was trauma. And all the words that were used to indicate good hair or healthy hair, and they use the word good in bracket.
Not the Caribbean good.
That's right. You could never use your name, right? Brazilian this, okay, Ecuadorian this, or whatever names as a prefix to indicate that this is what you need to do. And it's interesting, a couple of years ago, one of the biggest demand, and I kept on saying to my clients, no, Derek, I want to have a Brazilian style. I want to have a Brazilian blow dry. A blow dry is a bloody blow dry. Why is the fact that because there's Brazilian in front of it, it makes it any better? The sad thing was, Brother Rudy, in the Brazilian blow dry, they use formaldehyde to achieve that kind of result. So you're damaging your health and you're damaging your hair. And to achieve the Brazilian blow dry, the hair has to be pummeled. It has to be battered, right? Because you're literally fighting with the hair to get the hair to do what it doesn't want to do. Your hair is elastic. It must stay, it's either coily or curly or wavy. It's nothing else. Don't fight it, okay?
Yeah.
And so on that note, you're perfectly right. You went to the schools and the colleges to learn how to fight with your hair. Again, thank God for the natural hair movement. We are now leaving our hair. And the emphasis now is not on the style so much per se, but it's about the sustainable products that's good for the hair. Hence the reason why that Jamaican black castor oil has become almost, I mean, it's almost the elixir of products, isn't it? Because it's packed with nutrients. It's packed with, look, we even have it as a food. I won't show it to you just yet because I might be breaking the surprise, but we have it as a food. So we're encouraging you to eat healthy, to be holistic, and to look after the hair on the outside by using the very best products. And of course, we got the Shea Moist 9, which has all the nutrients and all the moisture and all the sustainable stuff. We talk about repair, regrowth, restore, rejuvenate to regrowth. All the R's is crucial for the hair.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on that great note, thank you, Sophia, Deborah. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
Sophia, we'll be back again next. Our favorite.
The memories, girl, queuing up
Oh, wow.
to go to hairdressers.
Telling
Those
you.
were the days. And I
Those
want
were
to
the days.
look, also look, when the movie is made, that's going to be a pivotal point to show people that we had a Salon 1 in the West End, Mayfair in the West End, and the support that was there was unbelievable.
Traveling.
And
You can't imagine people leaving the north now to come down to get their hair.
Get their hair done. Brilliant. Lovely, guys. As
Thank
usual,
you.
All right.
Hair
Brilliant.
talk.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
That's
you.
what we do every week. Guardians of the Guild, hair talk, and providing for you guys information, advice, and support. See you guys next week. Lovely. Bye.
See you. Take care. Bye-bye.